Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. All right, so I have an article here which I want to talk about. This to me is a subject that is actually something that I can relate to. I personally feel this way about this subject. So I agree with what's being asked of T-Mobile. And I think many of you, when you really think about it, it's only fair that they come forward, they come clean, and they do the right thing because this is trickery. For many customers, this is trickery that don't know any better. You're signing up to something, you're assuming that you're going to get what you're promised, and that's not really the case with T-Mobile. It has not been the case. So again, it's just trickery. Link for the article down for you in the description. It is coming from The Verge. So what are we talking about here? T-Mobile has been asked to stop advertising price lock guarantee that, of course, doesn't lock your prices. So it looks like there's the NAD, which is part of the nonprofit BBB national programs that evaluates claims presented in the ads industry. So it looks like they're asking T-Mobile to stop advertising its price lock policy for its 5G internet service. Of course, this comes just months after they've raised their prices. So on Monday, the National Advertising Division, NAD, recommended that T-Mobile discontinue or modify the claim to explain how it differs from a price lock. All right, so of course, at&t is the one that initiated a challenge against T-Mobile's price lock claim, which appeared in numerous advertisements in print, online, and TV. In each instance, the description below the price lock claim says, "Get your last month of service on us if we ever raise your internet." The NAD argues that this disclosure contradicts the main message of the price lock claim, as T-Mobile really isn't locking in customers' prices and will only guarantee them 1 month of free service if T-Mobile raises your bill. So, of course, the NAD recommends that T-Mobile change its claim to explain this or stop advertising it completely. In the past year, T-Mobile often advertised certain internet and mobile plans as coming with a price lock guarantee, which is supposed to prevent T-Mobile from raising a customer's monthly price after signing up. However, T-Mobile changed this policy for new customers in January to only offer 1 month of free service in the event of a price increase. And of course, around that same time, T-Mobile increased the price of its 5G home internet service, which we talked about. It later raised its prices across its mobile plans as well. T-Mobile plans to comply with the NAD's decision, but it told the NAD that the ads in question appropriately communicate the generous terms of its price lock policy. So we got to backpedal here. It really doesn't, because basically T-Mobile is lying. Like I said, it's trickery. They're saying we're locking in your price. If we ever raise your price, you'll get 1 month of free internet service. That's not a price lock guarantee. You're basically saying that we might raise your price, but you're not really saying that. You know what I mean? So it is false advertisement, and they're just playing around with you. And that's, this is what any company does this, right? Like, they all do this. at&t is guilty of it too. So they're calling out T-Mobile, but they really should sit in a corner and think about their own problems. They need to reflect on their poor decisions over the years of false advertising. They're pretty bad with that. And Verizon's not no saint with it either. They all do this, right? But T-Mobile's been a little bit on the worst end of it all within the recent years, making promises that they're not going to keep. So I think, for the better of the good, for consumer benefit, they should either stick to a price lock promise, something like, what Verizon Fios is doing. We'll lock your price for 24 months. After that, the price might change. Do something like that. Be clear with it, T-Mobile. Say, we're going to lock you in for 24 months, 36 months, even 12 months. Just come clean with it. Make a promise, keep a promise. And then, if you need to raise prices after that, go ahead and do it. But don't trick the customer into thinking that when they sign up, they're getting this price forever. A lot of people do not read the fine print, that very small print with that, backhanded gesture of how we'll give you 1 month free if we ever raise your prices. We all know that means that it's very likely that they're going to raise your prices, but not everybody is thinking like that. Not everybody is able to catch their lie, or catch the fact that, what does that really mean? Like, does that mean they're going to raise it? Yeah, it does. Most likely it means, yes, they will most likely raise your price, but they don't want to tell you that. They want you to think that it probably will not happen. And that's trickery. So I don't like that. And I'm not a fan of that. That's one thing I like now, that when you sign up for wireless service and internet service, we now have internet labels, which internet labels, of course, help you identify exactly what you're getting for the most part, right? It tells you how fast your speeds are, because we all know carriers are guilty of telling you're going to get this much speed. And, it's carriers, it's internet service providers, it's all of these companies that, we pay top dollar for, and we're being promised a certain amount of up, a certain amount of down, certain amount of unlimited, right? And then before you know it, we're being throttled, slowed down. We're not getting anywhere near the speeds that we're promised. It's all these false advertisements that were going on the back end, and money was being paid, high money was being paid, and consumers were not reaping the benefits that they were promised. So now with these internet labels, they have to come right out and tell you exactly what you're getting, and they can't lie about it, because if they get caught, they can be sued for a lot of money, millions upon millions. And I like that. I like that it was finally taken care of. I don't know why this took so long. I guess maybe, everybody was getting paid off of this, the FCC too. We all know that they basically only do things that benefit them. And that's probably the case with why they allow T-Mobile to get away with as much as they do. And, I don't know how else to put it, because I don't know how else you can really compare it when you really think about like how much certain things that T-Mobile gets away with. Like, how is that even possible, right? Somebody's got to be getting paid under the table here. But again, that's just an accusation. I have no proof of this, but that's my 2 cents, and I'm sticking to it, because otherwise, how else do you identify some of the stuff that they get they get away with, should I say? Anyway, keeping this short, moving along, I think this is an appropriate request. T-Mobile says they're going to reevaluate it. We'll see. I think this goes for a lot of the stuff that T-Mobile's done with advertising. And again, if you watch me, and I'll say this for anyone new coming in, that's why I'm going to say this, I don't favor any carrier. If I don't agree with what they're doing, that's what we're doing here. We're talking about this, we're reading the article, and we're coming forward with our opinions. I think all of these carriers have been guilty of this in the past. T-Mobile, more often, more recently, right, within the last couple of months, maybe even a year, it's been a little much. They've become a little desperate with trying to trick customers into thinking that they're getting something better than what other carriers are offering. Now, T-Mobile is great. Their prices, for the most part, are great. Service works great for most people. But this is a lie. This is not a price lock. This is not a price lock. We've just witnessed them raise prices on consumers. It's not a price lock. Now, they might say some of the previous consumers are locked into a price if they fall within a certain range. I still think that that's temporary. I do think that the ones that are promised the price lock are going to see a price increase eventually, because they've said that about other things. They've said that about how they weren't going to throttle internet plans, with that whole 1.2 terabyte thing. And then they went a terabyte thing, and then they went ahead and raised it anyway. They went ahead and decreased it for those customers as well. So again, can't be trusted. Trickery. That's all I really have to say here. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.